one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As always, please remain standing for just a moment, please. Please keep in mind all of the military that serve here and abroad, especially on a night like tonight. Please remember our first responders who are at home, our first aid, our fire, and most especially our police. Please keep them in our thoughts. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled Jackson Township Council meeting of October 13th, 2020. My name is Janice Kisti, Jackson Township Clerk. The time is now 7:30. I'll begin with a roll call. Councilman Bressi.
Here.
Councilman Chisholm. Here. Councilman Fleming. Here. Council Vice President Kern.
Here.
Council President Sawicki.
Here.
Attorney Gregory McGuckin.
Here.
And also present this evening is our Mayor, Michael Rena, and our Business Administrator, Terrence Wall. As clerk of this meeting, I publicly announced that in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been advertised in the manner prescribed by law. This statement shall be entered into the minutes of the meeting. We'll begin with the presentation of police officers. Chief Coons.
Welcome, Chief.
Good evening. For the record, Madam Clerk, and for the gallery, I'm Chief Matthew Kunz of the Jackson Township Police Department. First and foremost, thank you to Council President Sawicki for allowing us on your agenda this evening. A sincere thanks to Mayor Reyna, to our Business Administrator Terrence Wall, and to all the governing body for your ongoing support, which enables tremendous progress for the police department, such as you're going to witness tonight. So at this time, what I'm going to be doing is introducing our officers that will be promoted. They have assisted me with a little biography, some personal facts about themselves. After each introduction, the clerk, Janice Kisti, will provide the oath of office to each of our promoted officers. At this time, I would like to call forward Police Officer Vincent Rubio. Police Officer Vincent Rubio, born in Staten Island, New York, and he moved to Jackson Township at the age of 6. He is a graduate of Jackson Memorial High School, class of 1989. For higher education, he reports attending the University of Integrity and Hard Work. His law enforcement history began with the Jackson Township Police Department in 1996, of course, where he remains to the present. His career assignments and highlights include from 1996 through 2000, he was in the Patrol Bureau on the afternoon shift. From 2000 through 2007, he was assigned to the Detective Bureau, where he, quote, did it all. From 2007 to the present, he has been in our Services Support Division. In that role, he has served as the Department Procurement and Logistics Officer from 2008 until the present. Through the LISO program, that's the Law Enforcement Support Office of the Defense Logistics Agency, he has literally procured millions of dollars worth of equipment for Jackson Township. He also oversees acquisition of uniforms, vehicles, and so much more. He has been the Police Department Range Master from 2003 through the present. He updated our patrol rifle program in 2003, and he researched and coordinated our 2014 pistol upgrade to .45 caliber handguns. Officer Rubio has overseen various range improvements, including the installation of a modern classroom training facility. He has served as our department training coordinator from 2008 through the present. He is responsible for many training facility and training program improvements. He has served at the Ocean County Police Academy as a firearms instructor from the year 2000 through the present. Also, at the Ocean County Police Academy, he became their range master from 2010 through the present. He holds numerous instructor certifications in all firearms, non-lethal platforms, and tactical weaponry. His commendations include, but are not limited to, the Good Conduct Ribbon 4 times, the Unit Citation Ribbon 3 times, the 9/11 Responder Ribbon. He has also received numerous letters of commendation and recognition. As a community volunteer, Officer Rubio has served as a coach for baseball and basketball. He has held every adult leadership position in both Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts from 2007 to 2018. Currently, he is a member and president of District 2 Board of Fire Commissioners since 2012. He is supported in his law enforcement career by his wife of 23 years, Cheryl. His son, Vincent, age 20, is pursuing a degree in spaceflight operations at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Daytona Beach. And his son, Troy, is a 16-year-old Jackson Memorial High School junior, a guitar prodigy, and he is pursuing media production interests. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce now Sergeant Rubio. At this time, Township Clerk Janice Kisty will administer the oath of office for the position of police sergeant, and I'll call forward his wife, Cheryl, who will hold the Bible. Family and friends, if you want to get pictures, please don't be shy. Let's get up here and capture this moment.
I, Vincent Rubio. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform the duties of police sergeant according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Congratulations. At this time, I would like to call up Police Detective Sean Hobson. Police Detective Sean Carl Hobson was born and raised in Jackson Township. He graduated from Jackson Memorial High School with the class of 1990. For college, he graduated from Rowan University in 1995 with a Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice. He was hired by the Jackson Township Police Department in August of 1997, after which he graduated from the Ocean County Police Academy, class number 69, in December of 1997. His career assignments and highlights include being a police patrol officer on the midnight shift from 1997 through 2003. He has been a police detective from 2003 through the present. Within the Detective Bureau, Sean is responsible for Megan's Law, the evidence room, forfeiture cases, CODIS, which is DNA collection from suspects, and crime scene investigation. Detective Hobson is an emergency vehicle operator course instructor with the Ocean County Police Academy, and he's an ATV operator for the department. He became a member of the Jackson Special Response Team in 2000 before joining the regional SWAT team from 2003 through 2011. He is a graduate of the 92nd State Police Crime Scene Investigation course and also attended the prestigious Leeds Criminal Investigation School. His commendations include, but are not limited to, 2 letters of commendation and 2 letters of recognition, the Good Conduct Ribbon for 20 years of service, the Educational Achievement Ribbon for assisting in New York City after 9/11, and Officer of the Year Award in 2014. He also has 4 police unit citations, the first for actions in January 2011, assisting Lakewood PD following the homicide of police officer Matlos, for a police response in August 2011 to Hurricane Irene, police response in October 2012 responding to Hurricane Sandy, and December 2018 for a police response to an armed barricaded suspect on New Central Avenue. while assisting as a liaison to the Camden Tactical Diversion Squad, culminating in a substantial narcotics arrest in August 2019. Sean was the recipient of the DEA Law Enforcement Award and presented with the Guns, Gangs, and Drugs Law Enforcement Award of the New Jersey Narcotic Enforcement Officers Association for his investigative effort in the criminal prosecution entitled State versus Anthony Calabrese. Sean has headed the PBA golf outing for 8 years and has been a coach and member of the PBA softball team. He has served on the executive board of the PBA as a trustee. He is supported by his wife, Melanie, of 21 years. He and Melanie have 2 children, a daughter, Morgan, 18, who attends Gettysburg College, and a son, Spencer, who is 16. Sean enjoys family time and is an avid golfer. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Sergeant Sean Hobson. If Melanie could join us, Janice Kisty will administer the oath of office for Police Sergeant.
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform the duties of Lieutenant Sergeant according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
At this time, I would like to call forward Detective Sergeant Frank Mendez. Detective Sergeant Frank Mendez, born in Brooklyn, New York, and raised in Staten Island. He moved to New Jersey in 1987 with his family and graduated from Keansburg High School. After high school, he enlisted in the United States Army, graduated basic training and advanced infantry training at Fort Benning, Georgia, before going to his permanent duty station, Fort Ord, California, with the 7th Infantry Division. In 1989, Detective Sergeant Mendez was deployed to the Republic of Panama. The 7th Infantry was instrumental in taking Manuel Noriega into U.S. custody and liberating Panama. Detective Sergeant Mendez was awarded the Combat Infantry Badge, along with the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal and National Defense Service Medal. He began his law enforcement career at Brookdale College Police Department in 1993. In 1994, he became a Class II Special Officer with the Keansburg Borough Police Department before becoming a full-time police officer for Keansburg Borough Police Department in 1996. During his time at Keansburg Borough, he worked as an undercover narcotics detective for 2 years with the Bayshore Narcotics Task Force. In 2001, he was hired by the Jackson Police Department. While in the Patrol Division, he was a field training officer, advisor to Jackson Police Explorer Post, member and later supervisor of the All-Terrain Vehicle Patrol Unit, member of the Jackson Police Department Special Response Team, and a member of the Ocean County Regional SWAT Team. He was a former instructor at the Ocean County Police Academy and is currently an in-service training instructor at JPD for use of force, as well as arrest, search, and seizure. He became a Jackson Police Detective in December 2008. Some of Detective Sergeant Mendez's accomplishments while at JPD include: he was awarded Officer of the Year in 2006 and again in 2009. He was promoted to the rank of Sergeant in 2011, and he was recognized by his peers as Supervisor of the Year in 2015. He has been awarded 3 unit citations, the Veterans Ribbon, the Good Conduct Ribbon, the Achievement Ribbon, and a letter of commendation. He has been honored by the Ocean County 200 Club for dealing with an armed, emotionally disturbed person who was taken into custody without injury to anyone. Detective Sergeant Mendez married his high school sweetheart, Deborah Ann McSweeney Mendez, and the two have a daughter, Selena Marie Mendez. Some of Detective Sergeant Mendez's favorite things include beer and hot wings. Congratulations, Lieutenant Mendez. At this time, I would like to call forward Selena Mendez, who will hold the Bible while Lieutenant Mendez receives his oath of office.
According to the best of my ability. So help me God.
And at this time, I would like to call forward Police Lieutenant John Convery. Lieutenant Convery was born and raised in Jackson Township. He is a 1985 graduate of Jackson Memorial High School, after which he attended Trenton State College, where he was a 1989 graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice. His law enforcement history includes, from 1987 through 1989, working as a detention officer for Ocean County. 1989 through 1997, he served as a probation officer for the state of New Jersey. And from 1997 through the current, he has been with the Jackson Township Police Department. His career assignments include 1997, he was assigned to the Patrol Division. In 1998, he attended the DARE Academy and began instructing in the DARE program, which to this day, he coordinates and supervises. In 1999, he became a domestic violence liaison officer for the department. From 2000 through 2008, Lieutenant Convery was a member of the Special Response Team. In 2001, he attended Firearms Instructor Academy for police pistol and shotgun. He later attended instructor schools for police rifle and submachine gun as well. In 2003, he attended Chemical Munitions Instructor School. In 2005, he joined the department's Special Services Unit. It was in 2005 that he began coordinating National Night Out for Jackson Township, which I believe most everybody here not only knows, but enjoys. In 2012, in conjunction with Providence House, he became a founding member of the Elder Abuse Project, training almost 300 officers in the Ocean, Monmouth, and Burlington areas of the warning signs of elder abuse and how better to prosecute these cases. The first program of this kind in the state of New Jersey. In 2015, he attended the National Network to End Domestic Violence Technology Abuse Summit. And in 2019, he helped to implement Project Blue Angel to assist at-risk senior citizens in the event of an emergency. This program is also the first of its type in Ocean County. His commendations include, but are not limited to, 1988 Meritorious Service Award for action in a riot situation in the Ocean County Detention Center. In 1997, he received the High Academic Award from the Ocean County Police Academy. In 2000, he was awarded the Meritorious Police Duty Ribbon for action in a domestic violence-related shooting. In 2000, he was also named Officer of the Year. In 2003, he received his first Good Conduct Ribbon. 2007, he was again named Officer of the Year. In 2011, he received the Unit Citation Award. He is currently serving as the department's official liaison to Chuck Norris, if you know him. He's been a member of Boy Scouts of America since 1999, serving as Scoutmaster of Troop 34 here in Jackson from 2005 to 2013, during which time 13 Scouts earned the Eagle Scout Award. He's married to his wife, Patty, since 1992, and together they have 2 sons and 1 daughter-in-law. His wife, Patty, is a certified coding specialist at Jersey Shore Medical Center. Their son, Joe, is a chemical engineer for the Reckitt Benckiser, this company that makes Lysol, and is married to his wife, Kelsey. Their son, Jake, is a computer engineer and is currently employed by Schneider Electric, designing and implementing features for high-rises and bridges throughout the tri-state area. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Captain John Convery. If I can call forward his wife, Patty, so Clerk Christie may administer the oath of office. Captain Laskowitz, did you have somebody sign to get a picture? At this time, I've been reminded by Clerk Christie that the 4 promoted officers have to sign a document confirming their oath of office was given. Did you want to do that now, Clerk?
When they're finished.
All right, when they're done. And again, really, it's important for me to recognize what got us here tonight. Mayor Reyna, Business Administrator Wall, our governing body. You're enabling the police department to grow with the community, to fill much-needed positions to make us more efficient, more effective. For that, we are grateful for this working relationship, and we look forward to much more collaboration, not only for the benefit of the department, but for the benefit of the residents of Jackson Township. So again, thank you, Council President, for allowing us to take up the beginning of your agenda for this presentation. It's truly appreciated. And with that, I think we'll let you do your signing and get to the meeting. I would like to ask, I think we've done this in the past, if perhaps the promoted officers can get a quick photograph with the members of the council off the dais to memorialize this tremendous event. And again,
Council, if
thank
you
you
could
all
put your
very
masks
much.
on.
Thank you.
No problem. I knew I was going to. Nice.
Chief, you want to bring right here?
Yeah, come there.
Right, hold on. Thank you. Okay. 1, 2. Hold on. Flag. That's right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Hey, I need you to sign something. Let's see if I can get the right. What do you want to be? I'll give you a head. I'm sorry. Oh, no. I know.
Folks, if you could just take your seats, we're going to continue the meeting for those that are staying.
Thank you. We'll continue with council comments. Councilman Bressi?
Thank you. Now, every time we have these promotions, one, we recognize the finest police department around. But when you hear the achievements of all these officers over the years, and you've worked by them and seen them all these years, you just recognize how deserving they are of the promotions. It was my pleasure to see that this evening, and I congratulate all of them. Thank you for coming out this evening.
Thank you. Councilman Chisholm?
I just want to congratulate the officers as they were promoted this evening, especially the guys that grew up here. You guys are a credit to our community and have certainly done Jackson proud. So thank you for all you've done here in Jackson, and hope you'll continue to do so for many years to come. Also, it's funny, but I actually voted today, which is unusual. I've never done that in October. So for those of you that have not yet done so, make sure that you get out there and get your ballots in. If you are not really used to this, like most of us, please make sure that you follow all of the directions. Sign everything, dot your I's, cross your T's, get those papers in. We want to make sure that everybody's votes are counted accurately. So good luck with that this year, and thank you for all of you that came out this evening. Have a good night.
Thank you. Councilman Fleming?
Thank you. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. First, I'd also like to extend my congratulations to our newly promoted officers, and I wish them the best in their new ranks. Secondly, I would like to remind everyone of our local ballot question about the open space tax. While I cannot outright ask you to vote for this, I can say that this issue has been at the forefront of this council's agenda. Preserving our township's dwindling, undeveloped land should be at the utmost importance to all. It is to your council. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Vice President Kern?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Congratulations, first and foremost, to the newly promoted police officers, and thank you to their families for allowing them to leave you every day so that they can keep us safe. May the Lord watch over and protect you always. Tonight, this council, in cooperation with the mayor and the administration, will be continuing our commitments to the residents and taxpayers of Jackson by preserving additional open space, keeping Jackson one of the safest communities in New Jersey, adding to the Jackson park system, addressing the landscape and maintenance issues of the township owned buildings and parks. Tonight, we had a second set of off-leash dog parks to the west side of the township. Jackson Forest on West Veterans Highway has been an underutilized park since I was a small child. When I conducted my initial assessment of the township-owned playgrounds, the nicest playground we owned was in that park. It was the nicest because no one had been using it. The park had become overgrown and a bit scary to families with small children. The addition of a small and large dog off-leash park to the area near the playground will increase the usage of the park. This park is ideally located just a mile west of the Justice Complex, so parents would be able to drop off their kids at baseball, softball, soccer, or lacrosse practice, and then take their dogs for some exercise without having to travel all the way across town and then rush back. We are also addressing the condition of the landscaping around the township-owned facilities, buildings, and parks. When the business administrator and I walked out of police headquarters last week, the condition of the once beautiful entrance was unacceptable. We are working hard to instill pride in our community, and that begins with what you see every day. We cannot wait for small steps. The condition requires that we get everything up to par with other towns and other municipalities as soon as we can. Once we have the working model to maintenance schedule, we can then transition these duties as we supplement DPW staffing. Tonight, we also are able to support over a dozen local organizations that participated in the 2020 Jackson Clean Communities Road Cleanup at the end of September. We're proud of their efforts to keep our town looking beautiful. Thank you for getting home tonight, and get home safely.
Thank you. Council President Sawicki?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. I also want to extend my thanks and congratulations to our police department. As Chief Coons mentioned, Officer Rubio is a member of the class of '89. You're also looking at a member of the class of '89, and somebody I've known my whole life. Officer Hobson is a member of the class of '90, which is my younger brother's class, and most of the people that graduated in that class were really good people, too. You know, it speaks volumes that you have 3 of the 4 have really been lifelong residents of this town. Knowing 2 of them personally, I can tell you they really bring a lot of respect and a lot of class to that department, which I've said multiple times is second to none in the state. So congratulations to them, and thank you to their families. As Officer Kern mentioned, without their family support, they wouldn't be able to do what they do. I also want to send a congratulations to Vice President Kern for the movement on the dog park. It is in a great location on the opposite side of town, long overdue. We've got nothing but positive response on the dog park. That's at Johnson Park, and to add one on the other side of town where the residents on that side of town can start using it is going to be a great thing. Last thing I wanted to mention is that the town has formally filed a complaint with the Board of Public Utilities around Altice or Optimum. The town has, in my opinion, worked in good faith before filing this complaint. We did reach out to the management of Altice months ago in attempts to try to alert them to the concerns. They're not new concerns. They didn't start with the pandemic. They were in existence before that. However, we did want to try to do right by Altice and see if we can work through their management. We also put a link on the Jackson Township website to allow residents to file their complaints directly with Altice, which they in fact did. However, at this point, in speaking with the mayor, with the business administrator, and the rest of the governing body, as well as hearing directly from residents, which we have been hearing, we have now formally filed a complaint with the Board of Public Utilities. We're also taking it one step further with Resolution 337R-20. That resolution is requesting a 50% reduction in the fees that are paid to Altice for the residents going forward. So we will file that resolution tonight. We will then alert the BPU to it, and hopefully they will take action regarding it. And we do that in conjunction with other towns that have already done it, so we will support their moves, and hopefully we'll see some movement on that going forward. Thank you again for coming out tonight, and please get home safely. Mayor, can I open it up to you?
Good evening, everyone. Not echoing everybody's comments tonight up at the dais. Very proud of the officers tonight. I know all 4 of them personally. I have known them for quite some time, served with a few of them, if not all of them. It's a great honor to watch this police department grow and know your fundamental part is being played by all. And council's support to, to build and grow this department with the town is appreciated very much. So I'll cut to the quick. Again, Captain Convery, Lieutenant Mendez, Sergeant Hobson, and Sergeant Rubio, congratulations. Be safe, and everybody get home safe and be well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve executive session meeting minutes of September 22nd, 2020?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Yes. Councilman Chisholm? Yes. Councilman Fleming? Yes. Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
And Council President Zwicky?
Yes.
Thank you. We have two ordinances for second reading this evening. 17-20 is an ordinance of the Township of Jackson, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 55 of the Jackson Township Code entitled Public Records, Section 7, Fees for Copies. We will now have the public hearing on this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone and identify yourself.
I'm just going to say Eleanor Schott, class of 82. Eleanor Hannum, 7 Evergreen Court. I know I reached out to you. I did try to find on the website the exact wording of how this is being amended, but it's not there. A few people looked, it's just not there. So can you just explain to me in Section 7 how the wording, how it's being changed?
Would you like me to explain? Sure. Okay. Our tax collector, Mike Campbell, brought to my attention that some of the fees that were in our prior code before codification had inadvertently been dropped from this section. There were some tax collector-related fees for copies of the things that people ask for. Sometimes mortgage companies, that sort of thing, will ask for copies. He asked for that to be reinstated. And the other change is that there was, we collect a fee for bid packages when there is a contract award, something to be awarded for a project around town, and those the fee was nowhere in the code. We had to have that in the code. So we've added that. It's not a tax or a fee for residents, but for the cost of the township to perform its business. There's only a few of them, and they're allowed by statute. It's not like we just made them up. And our attorney, Greg McGuckin, put them in order. For some reason, that's where they are in the code, so we kept all the tax collector fees together. There's fees for copies, as you probably saw, like 5 cents for an 8.5 by 11.
Yeah, I saw a $5.
Right, that's still there.
I saw a $25 thing.
But-
I was just concerned that this would be related to any Oprah requests.
Related to, pardon?
To Oprah requests?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
That was my main question.
Not at all.
All right, thank you.
Great.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Anybody else? Can I get a
Seeing no
motion?
one, move to close the public portion.
All in favor? Aye.
Motion to approve ordinance 17-20 on second reading, advertised in the notice of passage and approval in an approved newspaper as required by law.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Yes. Councilman Chisholm? Yes. Councilman Fleming? Yes. Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
Ordinance 18-20 is an ordinance of the Township of Jackson, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the open space land preservation land purchase of certain land designated as Block 17302, Lot 10, a 4-acre expansion of Rova Farms, as shown on the official tax maps of the Township of Jackson, pursuant to the provisions of NJSA 48:12-5.
Can I get a motion, please?
Well,
No.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
My bad.
We will now have the public hearing on this ordinance. If you wish to speak on this ordinance, please come to the microphone.
Seeing no one, move to close the public portion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, wait 1 second. Motion to approve ordinance 18-20 on second reading, advertise the notice of passage and approval in an approved newspaper as required by law.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Yes. Councilman Chisholm? Yes. Councilman Fleming? Yes. Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
And Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
We have two ordinances for first reading this evening. 19-20 is an ordinance of the Township of Jackson, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the purchase of certain vacant land designated as Lot 48 in Block 13001 as shown on the official tax maps of the Township of Jackson pursuant to the provisions of NJSA 40A:12-5. Motion to approve ordinance 19-20 on first reading. Advertise the notice of approval and public hearing scheduled for October 27, 2020.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
Ordinance 20-20 is an ordinance of the Township of Jackson, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending ordinance 16-15 to provide an additional dog park facility as an exception to Chapter 98-10 of the Jackson Township Code. Motion to approve ordinance 2020 on first reading. Advertise the notice of approval and public hearing scheduled for October 27, 2020.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
We will now have public comment on resolutions only. If you wish to speak on any resolutions, please address the council at the microphone.
Seeing no one, move to close the public portion?
All in favor? Aye.
Resolution 336R-20 is a resolution supporting the Ocean County Natural Lands Trust Fund Advisory Committee acquisition of Block 2507, lots 9, 15, 16, and 17, and Block 3802, lots 21, 22, 25, typo, 24 and 25, West Turkey Swamp Fish Road in the Township of Jackson. Need a motion?
Can I get a motion, please? Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
337R-20 is a resolution urging the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities to order a reduction in service charges for Optimum Altice USA cable services for the residents of Jackson Township due to their failure to provide adequate and proper service.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
338R-20 is a resolution outlining rules and regulations governing all dog parks located within the Township of Jackson.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes, and I'd also like to thank Mr. McGuckin's staff for pointing out that we were missing this resolution originally from the existing dog park. So thank you for your team for doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
Thank you. 339R-20, authorize an agreement between Jobs for Blue and the Township of Jackson to administer the off-duty program for the Jackson Township Police Department.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
340R-20, authorize contract award to Helios Construction for toilet renovations at the municipal building in the amount of $165,000.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
341R-20, authorize Motorola radio system project change order, increasing the amount of the contract to $5,766,519.85, an increase of $110,999.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
And Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
342R-20, award contract to Automatic Door Systems LLC for the replacement of handicap doors at the municipal building and senior center in the amount of $23,500.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
343R-20, award contract extension for curbside recycling services to Central Jersey Waste and Recycling Incorporated for the first of two one-year extensions for the period January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
344R-20, authorized professional engineering services with T&M Associates for design, contract administration, and construction observation services for the NJDOT Municipal Aid Brewers Bridge Phase 3 improvements in an amount not to exceed $76,750.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Okay, thank you. Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
345R-20, authorized purchase of a 2020 F-250 Ford 4x4 with liftgate from state contract vendor Buyer Ford in the amount of $42,522.50.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Okay, Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
346R-20, established salary for the mayor of Jackson Township for calendar year 2020.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
347R-20, establish salaries of the Township Council for calendar year 2020.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
348R-20, establish salaries of the Office of the Township Clerk for calendar year 2020.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
349R-20, establish salaries of department heads for calendar year 2020.
So, second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
355R-20, authorized purchase of a 2020 Ford Utility Interceptor from state contract vendor Winter Ford in the amount of $32,074.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
Thank you. May I have a motion for bills and claims?
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Thank you. Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Abstain from vendor SUR09. Yes to the rest.
Thank you. Council President Sawicki?
Yes.
We'll move on to the consent agenda, which is one vote for all of these resolutions. 350R-20, approved Township Council meeting minutes of September 22nd, 2020. 351R-20, approved tax overpayment refunds. 352R-20, authorized appropriation, advertisement, and receipt of proposals for various legal and professional services for the Township of Jackson for calendar year 2021. 353R-20, authorized appropriation, advertisement, and acceptance of bids for landscape maintenance and related improvements, primarily to municipal buildings, or alternatively, for parks and playgrounds within the Township of Jackson. 354R-20, authorize the execution of a clarification to the OC CARES agreement. You have a motion?
Roll call, please.
Councilman Bressi? Councilman Chisholm? Councilman Fleming? Council Vice President Kern?
Yes.
and Council President Sawicki.
Yes.
We will now have public comment on any topic. Please come to the microphone and identify yourself.
Richard Egan, 526 Diamond Road. I'm very pleased about the thing you're doing with Optimum. I can't believe that, you know, you guys don't miss a trick here. This is great. I mean, because I would say 3 or 4 times a month, it disappears on the computer. Like, no service, no explanation. Day goes by, 2 days go by, we'll get to it, I don't know what to tell you. So this is a good thing. I mean, I remember when this was done at 1:15 in the morning, when they cut this great deal. That's from the former mayor, but thank you, I appreciate it. I think everybody in town does. Get us some money back.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Good evening.
Just state your name, please, sir.
Most of the people who know me, I'm Sam Paulino, the barber from Jackson. And 2 years ago, I called Kenny. I said, Kenny, there's a piece of property that we have. I have some piece of property together with your piece of property from the township. I think it would be good to see you will sell. And the reason why that, because right now you people don't make no money. And myself, I needed that property to do better because it's a wire, electrical wire, in the middle of the property. So you can build a portion, and the rest is supposed to be like a parking lot. So I asked Kenny, so I can buy, I would like to put an office with a warehouse at the back. I am a businessman. I've been 54 years in Jackson. I pay $84,000 of tax a year. You know what I mean? I don't play game. Besides upon that, when I was interested and talked to Kenny, I find out that the township, you don't own the lot. So I can do 2 things. I can go over there, try to buy the lot myself. But I don't want to do that. I said, let the township buy the lot, clarify the property, and then we make a deal with the good neighbor. We are neighbor. We have a piece of property. I own a piece, they own a piece. They own a piece. I'll show you in a minute. So that's why I'm here. I've been in 2 years talking about it, back and forth. And they said to me, that they don't have the land free and clear. Okay, I'll wait. I'm not gonna have it, because I knew that the lot that was owned from the township. It was a people. See, some of the people that you don't know, but in that area, they have 1,000 lots. 50, 60 years ago, 100 years ago, there was so you buy a newspaper, they give you a lot for free. The lot that they are 20 by 100, 20 by 40, 50 by 40, they're all small. So you need 2,000 a lot to make something good today. You know what I mean? So I have 2 parcels. I have 100 and 100 pieces of property. But the township, you own a lot of little lot. And because I'm involved in this, I went to the Ocean County, the county, and all of this lot on County Line Road, they will be dissolved because of the street. Once you build it, the street will take over. So, in other words, you look a lot, but it's less. So I don't even know what to do, but I would like to show you this property. So, I did this
Mr. Polina, can you just explain what you're asking? Mr. Polina? Can you just state at the mic what you're asking of the council? Could you just state at the microphone what you're asking of the council? What do you? Yeah. Okay. And can you just state what you're asking for?
I talked to Ken 2 years ago. I was asking, I would like to combine together and buy this property.
Okay.
3 weeks ago, the administrator, he called me, he said, Sammy, we don't buy it and we don't sell the property, we buy property. She said, well, we've been talking for 2 years. I was wait for you people to clarify the lot that you don't own it, and then we can talk about it. That's what I mean. He don't sell the lot. So I feel like a damn fool. I came here, I got respect. I tried to talk to my neighbor so we can do something with this property. Because you people right now, you don't make no money on the property. The gasoline station, the mechanic in the store, he put a 30, 40 car with that old, that he ruined the property. Plus another thing too, on this property, right now you have where they have the electrical car, they go around. You know what I'm talking about? Nearby Italian American Club?
Yep.
Oh, that property, I got 100 by 80. They park in my property. The building, the shed that they have, is a foot on my property. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Plus more. They have a fence, they have more. So I don't want to have a problem with that. I don't want to, be bad. Right now, I've been keeping my mouth shut. You know? But I don't want to do that. See, you people don't cooperate and do something with me, because then if somebody broke a leg or something, they're going to sue me. I own the property.
Okay.
So, you understand? So we have a problem.
So,
So I wasn't trying to come in and talk to 2 or 3 committee men or talk to the administrator, which he never can talk to me. This man, I call it 10 times, 11 times he refused.
this man right here?
Huh?
This man right here?
Okay, yes, that's true. Every time I call,
so-
it's busy, he goes someplace.
Just so we're
I can
clear,
never come
though,
in with it. I told her.
The
Once.
town-
Once we did. Once we did.
if I could just summarize for you, though, so just so we understand, the town owns a number of lots over on County Line Road, correct? And you want to buy
The
them?
township own it, but see, you build the county, it will take over. In other words, they take a 60 feet. You understand?
I do.
So we say you own the 60 feet, but once you want to build something, you don't own no more.
Okay. Could you?
Yeah, sure,
could you
Mr.
give your
Chairman.
point? Thanks.
There's a piece of property that adjoins one of the lots that is owned by Mr. Polina. We had spent about an hour or so together in my office going over in detail.
You
your-
meet them once.
Correct. And I shared with him that the voters have approved an open space, dedicated open space tax designed to preserve and protect open space and farmland, consistent with the ordinance, consistent with the statute and the law, that the particular lot in question, that the township was not in a, that it was not for sale. I admire your persistence as a citizen. I share with Mr. Polina that we have meetings, and they're open to the public, and I'm presuming that's why you're here, because I share with you that there's a meeting every second and fourth Tuesday to meet with the governing body that's elected by the folks here. But the direction pursuant to the open space tax, unless it's an exceptionally unusual situation, we're acquiring open space and farmland. Rover Farms is one example, and others even tonight, and that this particular lot was not for sale.
Like right now, I pay tax on the 80 by 100, and they use it for parking space, the electrical car. I'm starting my English. I've been here 54 years, but still I speak a broken English.
No, I think we understand you fine. So You know, I appreciate that you want to buy the property, but I will tell you, we get approached, the town gets approached consistently about buying property or the town selling property, and we make decisions based on what property it is and that sort of thing. And I'd say more times than not, we err on the side of not selling it, because as the business administrator said, that, and what was been stated earlier by some of the council members, we're very big on preserving the land within the town in an open space. It sounds like, it does sound like the administrator gave it some thought, but ultimately they made the decision not to sell the land.
You people don't sell the land. No, I don't understand. I'm sorry. What you say?
So what the business administrator said, and feel free to correct me if I got it wrong, but he did give your ask consideration for the town to sell that property, but the town has decided not to sell that property.
No, I was asking a question to the county. You know, I was saying, because this property, it have many problems. You got the electrical wire in the middle. You got the street, got the county. I was trying to find out even for myself. So I want to buy where I go for and what I do. So that's why I thought that the county, it belongs to the township. But once you do anything with the property, the county will take over. That's what I was trying to say. That's why I was explaining to Kenny why not show this property. I don't try I try to be honest.
No, we appreciate it. So you want to buy property that's owned by the town, correct?
Well, I was trying to buy the property because both, in a way, we can do nothing. But individual, we can do something. Or I can even, I would do, change to the piece where they park the electrical car. I would take it someplace else and sell the property. So like this, they wouldn't have a problem with the car. You know, so we can talk. I don't like coming to the meeting, but I would like, be 3 people, 4, 5 people, for the committee man talk. I can understand you even better. And say, that's the problem. This is what we can do.
Well, my suggestion then, my suggestion is, I would schedule another meeting with the business administrator, just to make sure that we're clear on all the points.
Certainly.
But, the town may make the decision to ultimately not sell that property.
Okay.
So I appreciate you want to buy it, and I appreciate what you may want to do with it. I really do. I understood every word you said.
Okay.
I do think it probably makes more sense for you to have another meeting with the business administrator to make sure he's clear on all the points and the concerns that you have, to decide if in fact the town does want to move forward with selling the property or not. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm here the rest of the week, we can meet, and the reason I shared with Mr. Polina that there are regular meetings was to ensure that he had the opportunity to go beyond administration and speak directly to the governing body, but we're very consistent on the answers that we receive. Jackson's an incredibly desirable town. We're consistent with the responses on the regular inquiries we receive on whether or not a property is for sale. The answer is no, but we thank them for calling and wish them all the best in their endeavors in moving to Jackson and developing or buying property that's on the market from a willing seller. But that's the reason why you're here tonight, because I mentioned
Well,
that
I
they had
have
a
then
meeting
another
to
question.
speak to you.
I have 100 by 100, right? Oh. So I want to build a building, right? I know that sometimes, so you got a piece of property between two houses, they have a hardship, and they have to prove that piece of property. I don't have this, but I don't even know the request of the square foot. So you need 40,000 square feet to build that, what I want to build it, or 30,000 square feet. But I have 10,000 square feet. And I can buy the property from the township, okay? But the township is saying, no, I don't want to sell it. Because it's a township, if it was an individual, I can't do nothing about it. But it's a township. That's a place where I've been here for 54 years. Oh, at least I need a letter from the township to say, okay, you can go to the planning board, have approval, we don't complain, they get your next house. You have to do something.
Right, well, I mean, it's your right
You
to
understand
go
what I'm talking
before.
about? I don't really know.
For the property you own, it's your right to go before the planning board to get approval for a project you want to do on the property you own. The township has the right, just like an individual, to say no to selling the property, though. They have the same right. So if the town owns that property and the town has made the decision not to sell the property, that's the decision. I mean, the town has the same rights to not sell as any individual would.
Okay, but in other words, because it's a township, right? They can make a letter, they say, okay, we no complain, she want to build this building. It can be done with them?
Maybe I can jump in.
The lawyer.
You're talking about two different things here, Mr. Polino. If you want to make an application to the planning board, you certainly can. And if you don't have a lot area, you would have to ask the town to buy some land. At that point, we would send you a letter that says, no, we're not going to sell. But we're not going to tell you right now that we're not going to complain about something you may want to build, because we don't know what you want to build. We don't know what you're going to propose. So we're not going to make that, I wouldn't recommend the township make that statement. I think the answer is they're not going to sell you the township-owned land at this point.
Okay.
And you're free to do what you would like to do to make any
The answer,
use
no.
of your property before the local planning board.
Okay, see, so people say no, then I'd be disappointed myself to do what I would like to do. I had to put a wire, run my property. And these people, they can go to the electrical car, park the car, and then, because even in the shed, it's in my property. They have a shed, they have a building. When they build, they thought they own everything, right? It just so happening, I own that property. So I don't want to have an argument, I don't want to have a contradict each other. I would like to try to do the best way possible for both to be happy. It can be possible there?
I'm sorry, I don't quite understand what your issue is.
Well, why you people don't think about it? You want it, I can leave it as. You look at it, I show you my property, I have a number 2 and number 9, and you figure it out.
Councilman Bresci, you have a comment?
Yeah, and Greg, this is pre your time, and Mr. Wall, pre your time, when Mr. Polino came in with this, with all good intentions of making a commercial property and extending his property. And I think the sin of it all right now is, I think it's over 2 years, Mr. Polino, that this has been going on, and he never got a direct answer, no, we're not selling the property. And I think that's where you see what he's trying to do is work around whatever we could do. But until tonight, I don't think he's been given the exact answer, we will not sell the property. And
He was
that's
given
where
a
he-
direct answer, yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm saying maybe when you talk to him, I'm talking over 2-3 years.
Oh, I'm
He never
sorry.
got that.
Okay.
And what his intentions were. And when he did bring it to me, and I brought it to the council and to the elected officials and the attorney at the time, and it was handled then, and there was other reasons because of the go-kart thing there and everything else. But at that time, and Mr. Polino was looking for it for a long time for an answer one way or the other. I believe you gave him the answer now. He may not like that, I understand that. But I want you to understand where he's coming from. It's been over a 2-year, I think it's more like 3 years, if not longer. So I just want to let you know that.
And just as an item, I think he was alluding to, the gentleman was alluding to an electric car hobbyist group
Yeah.
that has, I believe, a
There's a racetrack.
pre-existing lease. The gentleman had come in who runs it, who's involved in it, because he had indicated that there were markouts being done by an individual, perhaps as Mr. Polina, that they were concerned that the property was being sold and that they would be displaced from their hobbyist group that is also utilized by the children in Jackson. So I asked, we're getting that lease together to take a look at that particular contract, but I'd share with him that there are no current intentions to sell the property, but that may tie to what Mr. Polino was just alluding to as far as marking out his own property.
Well, I guess, Mr. Polina, for clarification, and so there's no uncertainty, I think what I'm hearing, the town's answer currently is no to selling that property. However, if you want to schedule a meeting with the business administrator to clarify anything, to bring any additional information to him for potential reconsideration, that's your right, and I'm sure the BA would be happy to have that meeting. But I do want to make sure that it seems pretty clear to me that the answer is no at this point, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I don't understand. So what do we do?
I would,
Where do we go?
if you want, after the meeting, maybe meet with the BA to schedule some time to have a follow-up?
I can meet you and show this, and then you will show to them. I don't even know how I'm gonna handle it.
I'm here all week, next week, we can meet whenever. 8:30 to 4:30, I believe, approximately, we can meet.
8:30?
Well.
Anytime that's good for you, between 8:30 and 4:30.
She want it, I don't know, she have a freedom, I can come tomorrow,
Sure.
explain to them, and then I make a copy,
Sure,
and then you can show to them the situation.
yes,
Great.
And then maybe, like I said, you don't want to sell because
Correct.
you got the electrical car. But I can take that 80 feet by 100 and take another piece on the dirt road, which I have it.
I think those details are something that you want to explain to the
If we don't
BA.
sell it, you will change.
we
You
can
know what I
review the
mean?
information, I can package it up and deliver it to the governing
But
body,
It's
the
just
mayor
something
and council.
we gotta talk about. I don't know how we're gonna do.
Yeah, it's probably more appropriate, though, that you meet with the business administrator and discuss it with him first, and then he can decide whether or not they want to move forward and also bring that information to us. Okay? So I think we definitely heard your concerns. I think the council's up to speed at this point, but I do think it's important that you meet with the BA to explain any more details that you want to bring up around it, and for any reconsideration to sell it. All right? But that's something that you and the BA are going to have to do together.
So I talk to you?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
I messed up.
Okay? All right, maybe you could reach out to Mr. Polina after the meeting?
yes,
Great. So the business administrator is going to meet with you, is going
I
to,
can talk to the administrator.
Yeah, right
and
after the
administrator
meeting.
will explain to you.
Yeah, right after the
With
meeting.
With the copy of this,
He will get us copies of those.
I will make
Yeah.
a copy.
You don't need to make it, he'll make sure we get
Then I'll
copies.
make it here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
So, you know when I can meet you?
tomorrow,
Tomorrow? What time?
tell me.
I don't know, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock?
10, 2?
11 o'clock?
Sure. Sì,
Sure, then
grazie.
Thank
Perfect.
you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
A domani.
I'm sorry my English, but that's what I have.
No problem at all. Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Carrie Smith, and I reside at 69 East Connecticut Concourse. And I'm here to talk about how my life has been turned upside down because of the presence of a prayer house that's next door to me. This past weekend, it was so loud, them singing and banging and jumping and everything, I thought they were going to come through my dining room wall. I mean, this is from being indoor, my house. I can't spend time outside. We've got little kids walking up onto my property. The cars are out of control. This is what it looks like every single day. Every day. It's just, as far as the eye can see, is cars. We can't plan to have parties or people over because there's no place to park. It's just, my life has been turned in a 360. I've contacted Mr. Wall. I've contacted zoning because they're doing all kinds of construction in there that I know is just removing it further from a residential home because I can see all the appliances now on their sun deck. So they removed the kitchen and put all of those appliances on the sun deck, which I can see. They went and put a fence in because they claimed they were afraid of my dog, which would lick you to death, but they put a fence in, but it was only done to a certain portion where a tree exists. They shaved the tree down, hooked the fence to it, and never finished it. So I get to look at this now. Plus, they never removed their existing fence. It's just one thing after the other. And why should my life have to totally just suck because they moved in? And nobody lives in this house.
Can you clarify the address for me?
71 East Connecticut Concourse.
And you're claiming nobody lives there? It's an
No
abandoned
one
home.
lives there.
Okay.
It's used Friday through Sunday, or when there's another holiday, like this past week, they've been there every single day.
How long has it been going on?
A year and a half.
Okay.
And I have been contacting people for that long.
Mr. Walt, do you have a complaint
Mr.
on file?
Poporo, I've contacted numerous times. I just sent him a video of my lovely fence situation. He did tell me that a violation was issued, but they don't pay attention to any of that. I mean, I know that they went there from zoning and they were denied entry, and it just fell off. Nobody ever went back. Nobody,
Mr. McGuckin, if you could just clarify for me, can they be denied entry, the zoning officer?
It can be denied entry. There's a process that would require court approval to do something
Right.
different, but you would need more information.
On this particular, I'm sorry,
Please.
Mr. Chairman. On this particular property, first and second violations are already on the property, and they've commenced with the summons phase of the process. That's from the Jeff Porporo, the zoning officer. When there are assertions of illegal land use or uses that are not consistent with the zone.
right. Oh, I know what, a religious establishment
this
has to
item-
be a minimum of 2 acres, has to be 100 feet from the street, has to have ample parking, none of which this has.
I'm just confirming for the governing body that the referral is made to Andrew Cheney in code, as well as Jeff Porporo in zoning, and to the extent there's an impact on traffic safety to Jackson Police Department.
I
So-
can't even, like, buses have a hard time coming down because they're parked on either side. They're barely squeaking by.
So I just want to confirm for you that this is in the enforcement, the violation summons and enforcement arc currently.
As of what date?
As of, 30 days ago, at least when I have this confirmation, from the conversation this evening, I can get an updated current status as of tomorrow and communicate that out. As far as court dates and any related
Right.
items on this and on this particular address.
Mr. McGuckin, any other suggestions?
Well, if it's in the enforcement stage, I think we should let it run its course. I don't think we should interfere in that process.
Just to be clear for the audience, what does that mean as next?
Right.
Well, if there's been summonses have been issued, then it'll be
Correct.
heard in municipal court for violations of the zoning ordinance.
And what if they don't respond to that?
Eventually, they will respond. If there's an owner of the property.
Well, it's been a year and a half, and I don't have any hopes.
I certainly can understand that, but the process is they got to give warnings. They've given warnings. They've given 2 warnings. The next stage now is the issuance of summonses. Once the summonses are issued, it's now in the court's hands. The court then determines how long it takes to resolve the matter.
Well, in the meantime, they're just going to keep doing construction and moving it further and further away from a residential home
If
because they're
continuing-
there all the time.
If violations are continuing, there can be additional summonses issued if the violation continues, in addition to what's already been issued.
Okay.
So what kind of expectations should you have in terms of the time for that, do you know?
I honestly don't know how the municipal court is right now in Jackson, how backed up they are because of COVID. I don't know what their process is right now, how long, beginning to end, how long it's taking.
Okay, so it's in the court's hands.
If a summons was issued, I know warnings have been issued. It sounds like maybe summons have been issued, but I don't know.
You need time to confirm that?
A complaint was issued for change of use without zoning approval violation has been issued by the zoning officer.
Oh,
So it's in the
that's-
court's hands
That's good to hear.
So
At least that's good to hear.
based on that, it's in the court's hands at least at this point, right? So it sounds like there was a couple steps that had to happen. It sounds like they happened. I sympathize with the time it had taken. I'm sure the courts themselves are taking longer because of the pandemic.
Right.
But at least you have a status of where it is right now and at least right from the attorney what the next steps will be.
Okay.
Okay?
All
Thank
right.
you. Appreciate you
Thank you.
coming.
Eleanor Hannum, 7 Evergreen Court. I guess I'll start with 71 East Connecticut Concourse. I did bring up this address on September 22nd at the last council meeting. And there is another resident that is here that lives across the street from this home, who too is being negatively impacted by this change of use. It is not a home, it is not a residence, no one lives there. The owner lives in another town, and he intentionally came in and went into a densely populated neighborhood that was established back in the 60s. I grew up on the other side of Aldrich Road, so I know it very well. Without any regard for any of those residents, for any residents, for that matter, in Jackson Township. And it's infuriating to me, as a lifelong resident of this town, that I really feel that our government is not working on behalf of these residents. They're working more for this property owner that lives in another town instead of the residents that are paying taxes that live here, who are raising their families here, their children here. They should not have to feel like they have to leave because this rabbi who owns this house is now harassing the next door neighbor to get him to sell because he wants to buy the house. How many of you would want to live like that? I raised my children here. Some of my grandchildren are here. My children will not move back here because of what is happening and the fact that there is no enforcement. There is no enforcement. There's only enforcement for people like me, the law-abiding citizen, because we know if we get one of these summonses, oh, we're going to rectify it. But we have a whole slew of people right now that aren't. And we have a government that's not doing their job. So this home is on a 9,147 square feet. It's less than a quarter of an acre. Not only has it disrupted this neighborhood and the entire vicinity of the neighborhoods, there is not adequate parking. It is inconveniencing all of these taxpayers. The owner, like I said, does not live in this town and could care less. He is thumbing his nose to every single one of you and our mayor and every single law-abiding, tax-paying citizen in this town. And all we have done, there are no summonses because I've openly requested them. We have a violation. Here's my question. How long from the first violation does it usually take, Mr. McGuckin, to start the summons process?
I don't know, every situation's different. It's in the discretion of the code enforcement.
So it's a discretionary situation?
In the code enforcement officer.
Okay, so it couldn't be a biased or discriminatory situation, and that's how I'm starting to see this situation, and the next situation, and the next situation that I will be addressing. So this process actually started almost a year ago. And I did open request the summonses. All I got back was one violation, a notice of violation on January 27, 2020, change of use without an approval. Mr. Purpuro spoke with Mr. Perlstein and told him that he needed to go and get a building, file his building permit, in which he did. So he played the game, he pacified the need to do, oh, I'm getting the process going. This is all a game. If you don't see what's happening, it's a game. So he got him off his back to get it to continue. So he filed that, or filled that paperwork out in March, and then he did absolutely nothing. And then he continued to gut the house and pull all of the plumbing and gas lines and everything else out of the kitchen because the kitchen no longer exists. So here's my issue, and this is on the back of Jackson Township. I mean, we're all worried about these lawsuits. So we have no safety code, we have no health code, no fire code, we don't have any building code, no parking code, or traffic codes. The egress and ingress of the coming and going of 50-plus people If something happens, if there's more, I don't know. There you go. A 9,147 square foot piece of property with a house that is probably 20 feet from it. I brought this up September 22nd. I called code enforcement months ago. So all we have is this one change of use, no summons. Another change of use, no summons. Then we have, oh, look at that. They built a fence. Has he paid any of these fines? Has he rectified any of this? Or are we going to stall this? Because that will bring me down the road. Oh, real quick. So, we are in an election year. And just as I expected, because I did have somebody pull all of the voter registration for Jackson and other towns. So we have the old owner. Back in March, this house was sold over a year and a half ago. Back in March, registered to vote, his voter registration to that address. So that is voter fraud. So I don't know if he's in cahoots with the owner of this property, but it sure seems that way. And I'm sure as we keep on digging, we're going to keep on seeing more voter fraud of people registered in different homes where they live actually somewhere else. Because there is another one at 146 South New Prospect Road. So let me go down the road of South New Prospect Road, because here my question is, do these families have to wait almost 4 years, like the people who live and have been complaining for 4 years on 146 South New Prospect Road? Because, again, we have a government that's not doing their job. We have a government that, okay, yes, they did bring it to litigation, finally. And it did have to go out of town, and it did go to brick. And then what they did was they hired an attorney. And that attorney has been stalling this process along for the past year and a half. Oh, I need to postpone. Oh, I need to postpone. I know that game. He's been then postponing, going in front of zoning and a change of use for 3 years. So at what point are we doing something? Or are we all just going to be lambs to slaughter? Because that's what it feels like right now. I'd like an answer, because I was told I would get an answer from my questions on this September 22nd, and I never did.
All right. Well, I'll start. We did hear you on September 22nd, and I actually did ask the last person to clarify the address to get it on the record. And it does sound like it's at least moved forward to the courts since then. Is that correct?
I'm working from an email from the zoning officer, so if his...
IOPA requested it. There are no summonses.
Right, so just to finish, and I appreciate that. Based on what you said, I'll determine whether or not the communication that I was referring to is consistent with what is happening on the ground, meaning, are there summonses written? As far as a delayed process in the courts, I'd have to defer to the township attorney in that process, as far as the other item that you just mentioned now.
Can I just stop and clarify? If it hasn't been issued, it's going to be issued, is that correct? Where it will be in the court's hands? Is that where it's at this point?
Yeah, well, my understanding
I
is
get
that
there's a
it
timing
has
thing here,
been.
but-
So as far as predicting what will happen tomorrow, I'd rather confirm whether or not the information I already received is accurate, which is that the summons process has commenced.
Okay.
You had referenced that there is no such thing, so I'm going to clarify that tomorrow.
Okay.
And confirm one way or the other. and I
The
can-
only way I can say that I don't know, Ms. Kisti, you sent me a SharePoint. I am not within the Jackson community to open up the SharePoint, so that PDF that you sent me, I cannot open it.
Okay, so just to clarify, since you brought it to the council's attention and the BA's attention on the 22nd, which was the last meeting, we think it's moved forward to the point that it's going to be in the court's hands. All right, so that's that property. With 146, do we have an update on that?
I don't. I know it was in Bricktown, that's all I remember at this point. But
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about 146 South New Prospect Road. This has been going on since 2017. This did go to brick. It had to be taken out of Jackson Township. Homeowner was court-ordered to go before zoning by September 2019. They have not, and at that time, they hired Adam Pfeffer to represent them, and Adam Pfeffer has been dragging along the process ever since September 2019. Oh, I need it to be postponed. Oh, I need it to be postponed. You know what? At what point? He's playing the game, because they cannot accommodate what they need to accommodate with that structure.
So no application's been presented to the zoning board?
No. They started to, there were drawings drawn up. I did take pictures of them down at the building department. But then, again, Mr. Pfeffer pulled it. And that was back in March. And then he was told to come forward again, I think in May, and has not done so. This has been going on for almost 4 years. This is ridiculous.
All I can tell you is I will check on that one. I don't know what the status is, but I will find out.
So with that home, again, voter fraud, you have a Yusuf Ingber. He lives up in New York. He is registered to vote in that house, and he does not live there. And if you read the court order, it has been determined by the judge in Bricktown that he does not, in fact, live there, even though he put on a little piece of paper, oh, I'm the tenant. We can all play the game, if that's what you're looking to do. But most of us are honest. So am I going to get an answer on 146?
Just briefly, I just wanted to verify, did you happen to, or anybody file a complaint with the Ocean County Clerk's Office who would be involved in referring out that matter?
I have other homes and residences that I need to look at, so I might as well just give them all at once. I don't have time to, to do what I do here is extremely
No, I was just asking the question.
time extensive.
And from the last meeting where these number of addresses were referenced, the chief of police, the construction official, and the zoning official, or rather the code enforcement official, were all asked to review the audio of the meeting and to conduct operations accordingly as far as enforcement. So I think there were a number of different addresses actually from that meeting, last meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was told I would get some type of an email telling me what's going on, and I never did. So, before I get to my last one, a member of my organization, my coupon organization, reached out to me. He was driving down South Hope Chapel Road, and he was very, very taken back. He was very disheartened because what he witnessed were crates, stacks of chicken crates piled one on top of the other, just stacks and stacks of them. He called the Jackson Police Department, and he explained and cited the animal cruelty ordinance that was passed, a little over a year ago, Code 98-57.4. The dispatcher really gave him a hard time, didn't want to get involved, didn't want to send an officer, and he said, we have this law, we have this code, you need to send someone. Whether or not an officer was sent, he had the feeling when he got off the phone that they didn't. So then he just called code enforcement, explained to the code enforcement officer the exact same thing, what he saw, and the ordinance. And the code enforcement officer said he was a supervisor, and he said he was new to the job and was reluctant to go to the house. So again, just like 146, New Prospect, 71, there is no enforcement. There's no enforcement. We are making ordinances and laws, and nobody is enforcing them.
For that one, what was the violation?
I don't know if there was a violation.
Well, I know the ordinance because I authored it, but what was the violation that you think the person
Cruelty to animals. These chickens were in, from what he said, were in these stacks, just stacked on top of each other. No air, no food, no water.
At a residence, or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was actually 288 South Hope Chapel Road.
So at a residence on the Hope Chapel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you follow up on that?
Yes.
Great.
And
Now,
finally,
the one thing to clarify on that, as you may recall, when that ordinance was passed, there are exceptions for religious ritual. That's a federal law, all right? But you're right in that.
but
that the
if
the
any
ordinance
layman driving
does-
by, how would you know?
Well,
How would you know?
You're probably right. I mean, if somebody called it in, I mean, somebody should at least take a look, right? But I do want to let you know, if you don't remember from when it
I'm
was passed.
very well
there-
aware.
There is an exception for religious.
I do
ritual.
understand, but if
Okay.
you're a layman
Yep,
and you're not from this area,
yep,
you would have no idea,
yeah, I get it.
and most people don't.
Yep. Okay, so we will follow up on that, right? Yes. Okay. If I could just stop you for 1 second. On the 71 Connecticut Concourse, is there anything there regarding short-term rental, since we now have a short-term rental ordinance in place? The fact that it's owned by somebody outside of the town, it's being used only periodically?
If there is a tenant, and it's less than 30 days, then that would be a violation of that ordinance. It sounds like that's not the case, however. It sounds like there's nobody living there. It's being used for another purpose, but that's what an investigation is going to determine.
Okay. All right.
Essentially a party house. I mean, so I'm going to end with my last question. JR Custom Landscaping, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm seeing everybody's looking at each other 5 years ago. I'm getting deja vu.
That was on me from last meeting, so I reviewed the documents that you had provided. I then reviewed the township's documents with respect to that. I then found additional court orders that were not in the documents you gave me, including a 2015 order of Judge Troncone, an appellate division decision that came down after that. I've communicated my review of those documents to the zoning officer, and he has that information. And that was sent to him about a week ago, less than a week ago. So he has the information and my opinion as to certain things, and I can tell you that that's what's been done.
Okay, so we will be moving forward because those, first of all, J.W. Didaldo does not have permits to be parking, staging, training, and having this high-powered industrial-sized generator back there. This is 6.5 acres of property.
I'm not going to tell you what is or isn't permitted. You may have a better handle on that than I do. Judge Troncone was very specific in what is allowed to be there.
I know.
And that order refers to a 2009 plan, and it permits certain materials to be stored there and certain things that are not. If they're not in there, they're not supposed to be permitted. That's been communicated.
Yes. So I'm hoping that we will be moving forward quickly. Also, the stormwater management plan that he didn't do from 5 years ago. He
Well,
dug a
There
ditch.
was no requirement under the court order. Now, there may have been under a planning board approval or a zoning board
No, it was in the
approval.
court order.
It says, though, if there is a stormwater management plan, they have to send it for review to the board engineer. That's what the order says. So whether that was done or if it was required to be done is unclear to me at this point, based on what I've seen so far.
Okay, in the one court order, Judge Troncone did order that he had 60 days to present a stormwater management plan. So I can find that
I'm not
wording.
exactly sure that's what it says, but I'll take another look at it.
So, and it never was done. So what his son did was he just dug a big ditch and diverted all of the water in the ditch, which is so illegal, and diverts the water onto the Rorick's property. But, lo and behold, Tim Rorick gets a violation because he's an honest citizen, a violation because he has a boat back there. And he's fixing his problem because he got a violation. But we have a stormwater management that is non-existent flowing right towards where that boat is. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's so discriminatory and piecemealing, like, I'll target this person, but this one, you could do whatever you want. That's all I'm seeing right now. There's only enforcement for some people and not for all. It's very discriminatory. But all I have to say, and I will end with, and I guess I will give it a week and a half, and I expect an answer before, because my final question was, Are we going to be filing, is Jackson going to be filing an enforcement motion to get those trucks off that property, to get all that equipment? I want my court order
That was not what was
enforced.
discussed last meeting. That was not what was discussed, Eleanor. You wanted to know why somebody contacted the court to seek an interpretation of their order. So I reviewed all of the orders, I reviewed the court decisions, I provided my guidance to the department with respect to that. That's where it stands right now, and what happens from then is now in their court, and they'll decide what they're going to do. And from that, we'll see what happens.
So then they'll decide if we're going to file an enforcement motion or if the residents have to.
Residents can do whatever they like anytime they want. The township is following the court order, and I've advised the department exactly what that court order provides for, what is permitted and what is not. That's what the township's doing.
Okay, and outside that, what Judge Troncone had ordered, I'm just going to cite Code 244-131G. When it comes to trucks and trailer units, they must be parked and stored only on paved surfaces, concrete surfaces, and shall be under, that can support the weight of such vehicle. That's dirt. And sometimes there's 6 of those bucket trucks back there. And they're not small bucket trucks. So I thank you for your time, and I hope to hear something as to what is happening, if we're going to be satisfied for a court order that I lost 5.5 years of my life for, and now I'm losing more time for, or if I have to make my next move.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out. Anybody else?
Nino Borelli, 36 Winthrop Drive, Jackson. I currently serve and volunteer on the Jackson Township Zoning Board of Adjustment, so land use issues are of great interest to me. I want to thank you guys for passing Ordinance 18-20, additional 4-acre expansion of Rova Farms, introducing Ordinance 1920 as well, another property purchase, and the Resolution 336R-20, an 8-lot purchase by the county. Your acquisition of tracts of land is the best way to stop overdevelopment and high-density housing, which will in turn place an undue burden on the taxes, services, and our roads as well. So I want to thank you for your leadership, also working with our county of Ocean and supporting their efforts in acquiring land as well to protect it from development in Jackson. Also, I want to big thank you to the men and women in blue for their service to our town. The JTPD is simply the best. Thank you to the governing body for continuing to provide them the resources they need to protect our town and our quality of life here in Jackson while being fiscally responsible. Take care and have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a good night. Anybody else?
Seeing no one else, move to close the public portion.
All in favor?
Aye. Move to close.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, folks. Have a good night.